Hey Sagittarius, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing? I hope that you're well. We just got finished with eclipse season. That had 3 eclipses for us. We're used to them only coming in pairs, so that was rare in itself. I do hope that you are well. If you don't know where these eclipses occurred for you personally, feel free to check out my September playlist that has a lot of videos dealing with what went on in September. Check your sun, your moon, and your rising sign for that. What I'm going to do in this video is discuss what's going on the first half of October, and also speak about the week after the full moon, because I feel like that's going to be, the full moon will trigger what happens the next week, if that makes sense. So why don't you sit a spell so we can talk about the stars? Alright, Sagittarius. On the 1st of October, we will have the Sun in your 11th house, Mercury will be in your 10th house, Venus will be in the 12th, Mars is in the 2nd, Jupiter is in the 11th, Saturn is in the 1st, Uranus is in the 4th, Neptune is in the 5th, and Pluto is in the 2nd. On October the 8th, we have Mercury, the planet of thought, communication, and movement, changing signs. Mercury will move into your 11th house, which is the house of Aquarius. The house of Aquarius rules your friends. That can be your friends online or your friends in like real life. Your groups, memberships, and associations that you may be a part of. The 11th house also governs your future wishes and goals and dreams, like bucket list type things. On the 16th, we will be having a full moon in Aries, and this will be occurring in your 5th house. The Sabian symbol for this full moon at 23 degrees of Aries reads, "Blown inward by the wind, the curtains of an open window take the shape of a cornucopia." Cornucopias are also called a horn of plenty, and they represent abundance and prosperity and having all of the things that you need at your disposal to sustain you through the situation that you're in. I was meditating on this, and I thought of 2 different things. The first being a situation that is so shocking, so surprising, so full of change, possible liberation, that you are blown inward. And what I mean by that is you go inward. You turn into an introvert and you think about it. You marinate on it. You meditate on it. And you realize that your inner resources are enough to sustain you and hold you and keep you through the situation that you're going through. The second thing that I thought of is a situation that is so shocking, surprising, liberating possibly, that really does make you feel like the rug has been pulled from underneath of you and you're blown aback. But after the fact, very shortly after the fact, a gift or abundance or prosperity in some way will find its way to you. And it doesn't mean that it has to be a physical, tangible gift. It could just be the realization of something. And that can be sometimes one of the greatest gifts you get. So, this full moon is going to be playing out in a couple of areas for you. The full moon is in your 5th house, and the 5th house is ruled by Leo, so that may mean something to you. The 5th house covers your romance and where you fall in love. It also covers your children and the making of children. It covers creation and pleasure, your social life. Anything you have skin in the game in, anything that you are going to feel like hurt over not succeeding, will probably fall under this house. And this is something that you've done, you've created, you've made. It's also going to be playing out in your 2nd house, and this is where Mars and Pluto are. And this is aggressive. Mars is energy, impulse, and aggression, and Pluto is renewal and transformation. So there's going to be a big shift in your second house of values, self-esteem, your money, and your possessions. Sorry. The sun is in the 11th, and this is going to speak to your friends, your groups, memberships, associations that you have, and also the bucket list energy. So, it looks like, I mean, I know personally of a situation where this is playing out, and it's dealing with the health of a friend's child. And, the relationship is very close between this individual and the friend's child. It's like godfather, goddaughter type energy. So, that's what's going on for you, Sagittarius. That was just one example. It doesn't have to be that, like what I listed, but that is one example that I can give you that I know is playing out real world time right now. Is you may be getting internet messages about your creation, or possibly having somebody wanting to pay you, or you needing to pay somebody. It depends, because aspects. So, what I'm going to do is transition over to my Tarot and Oracle cards. I'm going to pull 2 cards from the Halloween Oracle deck by Stacey DeMarco, and I'm also going to pull 2 cards from the Sacred Rebel Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, and the artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. So, give me a second to meditate over these cards and ask for your messages, and I'll be right back to shuffle on screen and let you see the cards fall. I'll be right back, y'all. Hey, y'all. Before I get started shuffling, and I've already shuffled off camera, but I can't remember if I told y'all about the week after the full moon or not. So if I'm reiterating myself, I'm sorry, just skip ahead. But yeah, October 17th through the 23rd is going to be a very powerful time. I suggest you write it down on your calendars, and I suggest that you do your best to breathe and be calm, because it's a trigger warning time. A very famous astrologer that I watch on YouTube named Steve Judd has issued a heads up warning, and if it's important enough for him to mention it, then I also want to mention it to you as well. And I don't find it at all odd that my dog is over here growling and barking while I'm trying to tell you about this. So pay attention to this time frame. Alright, now let's move on to the cards. For my Sagittarius friends, for this October full moon, the only other thing I could see this being would be like a friend possibly becoming a lover, or you falling in love with a friend, maybe. Because after this full moon, we have a lot of stuff moving into the 12th house, and that's the house of secrets. 11th, 2nd, and 5th house energy. Okay, you had a card flip. I'm going to cut. I'm going to take the bottom card for the underlying theme or the overarching energy, and the top 3 for clarity. I'm going to pull 2 cards from the Sacred Rebel Oracle deck. Move those guys. Y'all see this? I'm going to take the bottom card. And from the Halloween Oracle deck, for my Sagittarius friends for this full moon in October. I'm going to pull the bottom card and the top card. Alright, Sagittarius, I'm going to flip these cards, do the math, and meditate over the messages, and I'll be right back. Hang tight, y'all. Hey, lovely Sagittarius, I'm back with your cards. Thank you so much for joining me again. Okay, while I was shuffling, a card popped. It is the first card in the Major Arcana, the Magician. You have Saturn in your first house as well. When I see the 1, I think of the first house. The first house is the house of your personality, your physical body, and your appearance. With Saturn being here, Saturn represents limitation, structure, and containment. The Magician card, as a Major Arcana, represents the planet Mercury, which is communication, thought, and movement. Mercury is in the 10th house at the beginning of the month, but makes a move to your 11th house on the 8th of the month, within the first week. Mercury in the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius speaks to your friends, both online and in person. Your groups, your associations and memberships, also your future wishes, goals, and dreams, or bucket list type energy. The Magician as a Major Arcana card, the symbology is, having perception, perceiving things appropriately, making connections, being able to problem solve. It also is a card of manifestation, the as above, so below principle. You have all of the tools at your disposal to do what you need to do. Whenever I see this infinity sign, I also think of Scorpio. That may mean something to you. Scorpio rules the 8th house. And you have 2 8s in this spread. Scorpio may be a big deal for you. You may be dealing with, you may know a Scorpio, you may have Scorpio in you. Scorpionic energy is around you for this first half of the month. The underlying theme or the overarching energy for you is the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is a message or messenger. If it's a messenger, then this person is definitely a water sign or has water sign energy in them. That is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It can be their sun, moon, or rising sign. The Ace of Cups is usually, whenever I see the cups, I think of things that will sustain you, make you feel whole, make you feel good as a person, relationships, the things that you devote your time to, that you truly care about, family, bonds, ties like that. This is a positive omen. Whenever I see this as an outcome card, though, I do also think that it could be emotional for you, because I see this as tears streaming. Emotional can be good or bad. It can be happy tears or sad tears. I'm not sure how it's going to go for everyone. I'm just going to give you what I'm seeing. The first card in the top 3 for clarity is the 8 of Swords. The 8 speaks to the Scorpio-ruled house. The Scorpio-ruled 8th house of other people's money, regeneration, transformation, and metamorphosis, sexuality, primal or basic instincts, life, death, rebirth, and birth, that entire life cycle process. The swords represent air sign qualities. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Air signs are mental, cerebral, more about logic, rationalization, not so much about the emotions. You could be using logic to get through an emotional period. It could also feel like it's all in your head. This card just symbolically is being in a prison of your own mind. This is gauze or muslin, light linen, something that is not wound very tightly around her. If she was truly a prisoner, she'd be in shackles or chains, but this is just cloth. Her eyes are closed or covered, So you may be feel like you're walking into the situation blind. I would suggest you use your intuition. The background color of this card and the Ace of Cups card is gray, which means the situation could feel like you don't know exactly what's going on. It could be a foggy situation, or the details may be murky. The next card is the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles represents a mature earth sign, masculine energy. That could be a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. This individual has all of the resources and money that they need to be quite healthy and happy about it. They have enough to share if they so choose. They're very practical and ambitious, stable, a little perfectionistic at times. But I mean, he doesn't have to worry about it. If you look at the illustration, he barely has his hand on this. It's just kind of balanced on him. He's holding a scepter. He doesn't have to hold it with both hands like, oh no, if it drops, it's all I've got. He's got more. Pentacles represent resources. That could be money, that could be health, that could be love, devotion, anything that you would expend on another living human thing or situation close to you. Now, I have the Strength card as your third card in reverse. And I've got the Magician mirroring the Strength card, so I feel like the message here is that you need to have strength when dealing with your connections, when dealing with problem solving. You need to have the strength to perceive the situation as it truly is and not see it through rose-colored glasses. This is another 8, which speaks to the Scorpio-ruled 8th house of life, death, rebirth, that entire cycle, transformation, instincts, and sex, other people's money. It's a very intimate house. The Strength card as a major arcana represents, for me, Leo, because of this line right here. Whenever I see the Strength card in my personal readings for myself, I always hear, Erica, have the strength to keep your damn mouth shut. And it may be a problem. It may be hard to keep your mouth shut right now. Or you may be dealing with somebody who's having a hard time keeping their mouth shut right now. It could be a Scorpio that's having a hard time keeping their mouth shut right now, because there's a lot of 8s that are showing up. The Strength card upright is self-confidence, so you may be having an issue with your self-esteem. You are having that second house energy, and that is the house of self-esteem. It's not just self-esteem, it's money, resources, possessions, earning ability. You may be dealing with somebody that has Aries and Scorpio energy in them because of the first house and the 8th house. That's who rules those houses. But ultimately, whatever this is, it's a message of love, a message of hope, a message of peace, a message of good tidings. It could be emotional. There could be a lot of tears. But like I said, tears can be good. Tears can be healing. Tears can be... When I get pissed off, mad about it, if I start crying, just go. Just run away, far away. Just run away. Not because I'm going to get violent, but because you don't want to hear what I have to say to you. Because I will cut you to pieces for sport. and not think twice about it if I'm in that state of mind. My friends know when they've made me mad they don't hear from me, because I will chew them up and spit them out without even thinking about it. And it's not because I'm trying to be vindictive. It's because you've crossed a line and you need to be taught not to do that again. And that's how I operate. But I also let them know, if I'm not talking to you, it's for a reason, and it's usually for your own good. I don't just drop them without giving them that. I'm like, look, we have issues that will get talked about, but right now ain't the time. And that may be something that you have to employ. You may have to say, there's a discussion that needs to be made, or a discussion that needs to be had, but it can't happen right now because I'm not in the right space. And that's totally fine. That's the mature thing to do. But don't avoid it after the fact. Don't let your pride get in the way of this discussion either. If it's a discussion, it may be something that's playing out online, because it's not third house. Third house would be like face to face or over the phone. So it might be online communications or something to that effect. Just have the strength to keep your mouth shut if you need to. You can always go back and reiterate. You know what I mean? I feel like you need to say what you need to say, but speak your truth in love. And, yeah. The strength card's really the one that's got me, kind of, not messed up, but because I've got the strength and the magician mirroring. Saturn's in your first house. You don't have any 8th house energy necessarily kicking off. So it must be dealing with a Scorpio, in my opinion, if you were to ask me, or Scorpionic energy. And that really backs it up right here with this Ace of Cups being a water sign, the 2 8s, that sort of thing. But let's move on, because I'm kind of just reiterating. I did the math for this. We've got 1 for the magician, 8 for the swords, 8 for strength, and that totals up to 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. The Scorpio ruled house of life, death, rebirth, and that entire cycle. Primal or basic instincts, regeneration, transformation, metamorphosis, other people's money, sexuality, and instincts. If your instinct is to just speak, have the strength to keep your mouth shut. Is what I'm hearing over and over and over again. And I'm an Aries sun, so I'm a fire sign. I understand the fire energy very well. So yeah. I pulled some oracle cards for you. The first that I got is from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck, and this is have faith in the process. And she is in her little red wagon, having faith that this thing won't fall over. Faith in the process is the 32nd card of the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. 3 plus 2 is 5, and that speaks to your 5th house, where the full moon will be occurring in Aries. The 5th house is ruled by Leo. I'm freaking out, y'all. This makes sense to some of y'all. The 5th house rules your creativity, your creation, your romance, where you fall in love, your social life, and your pleasure, how you make your babies. Faith in the process. When I see this card, I think of having faith in the benevolence of life, that it's a time for humility and a time for trust, that you really aren't in control. You have free will, but that's all you have control of. And that you need to accept the situation at hand as it is and see it as it is. Have that perception. Have the perception to see the situation as it is. Have the strength to see it as it is. The second is releasing allegiances. This is the 10th card of the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. The 10th speaks to me of the 10th house of your career, your status, your reputation, dealing with authorities and authority figures, and your destiny. William Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage, and I see the 10th house as the stage that you approach the world on and how the world knows you. Whenever I see releasing allegiances, I think that it is a time for self-care, a time to surrender to the sweetness of solitude. It's a time to have your own back. It's a time to hold on to yourself while letting go of another, even if it's for a short time. See, both of her hands are on her. You're probably breaking with tradition or with a belief or with a role model that has been around for a while. I also see this as a need to ground yourself. I want you to look up what the bumblebee spirit animal totem means, because she is covered in bumblebees. Find out what that means. There may be a message there for you as well. Mercury is in the 10th house right now at the beginning of the month and will be moving into your 11th house. You may be releasing allegiances somehow through communication, or that could be the situation if you don't have the strength to keep your mouth shut. From the Halloween Oracle deck, you got the Mummy card, and I can't ignore this full moon in the background. Full moons deal with the maternal energy or feminine energy, so you may be dealing with your mummy or the mummy of your children. I'm a nerd. The Mummy card reads change underneath. And I think whenever I see the Mummy card, that change is inevitable, that you can't keep everything the same or as it is, that the only constant in this world is change. That you aren't cursed, but that you've just been stuck in a rut. And that it's a time for you to change your strategy, assess your tactics. In Egyptian culture, death was seen as a new start as well. Not that I'm seeing death or anything, but I mean, it can happen. You've got a lot of eighths going on in this tarot spread, and that does cover, that is a death house. Another thing I think of is like slow moving change. Once you realize it, it's like radical. Like coastal erosion, going and seeing what years of this slow change has done. It's a traumatic visual to see. And you may be seeing what this long, steady, slow, transformative process has done, and now it looks completely different, and this full moon is illuminating that for you in the 5th house some way. The second Halloween Oracle deck card that you got is the Skull of Stars, and it reads infinite possibilities. Once again, a full moon in the background, that full moon in Aries. You could be dealing with an Aries that has Scorpio energy as well. Could be an Aries with Scorpio, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Sun, Moon, or Rising. It's a smoothie. It's however you want to see it. But don't ignore the full moon. It's going to be powerful for you. It's in a fellow fire sign, so you may be feeling a little bit extra powerful when it comes to it. The Skull of Stars, for me, I think that it's time to think bigger. It's time to aim higher in your life or in your dreams. I think that you are limiting yourself, or that I need to remind you that you are only limited by yourself or by your beliefs. Nothing else can limit you but yourself. I think that it's a time to assess your darkness and embrace your light. And what I mean by that is embrace the scorpion, the idea of the scorpion of life, death, rebirth, becoming that phoenix. But to become that phoenix, you have to be set on fire, right? There's a death process that comes to being the phoenix. I'm not saying literally go do it, but you know what I mean. There's a life, death, rebirth process in becoming a phoenix. I resonate really strongly with the Phoenix, y'all. So yeah, Sagittarius, that's what's going on for you for the first half of October. If you like this reading, please like, share, and subscribe it. And if you already have, thank you so much. I appreciate it from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I will be back around in mid-October for your secondary portion of October, astrology and another tarot spread. I hope you take care of yourself. Please be kind to yourself and save some of that kindness for others, because we're all going through battles in our own private lives that some of us may never speak about to another soul. Take care of yourself, Sagittarius, and I'll see y'all soon. Namaste, y'all.